welcome to Rauta City 5. It's early January, and here we are once again with 5 older releases. Not all of these are exactly unknown bands, but rest assured none of them are big either. But 5 different bands, 5 different releases, and quite various styles indeed. Let's go in alphabetical order as the case here is. First we go to Italy with Caronte, Wolves of Thelema. Now people who might be thinking like, okay, this is Thelema thing, this must be black metal. Unfortunately for you, you are a little bit wrong right there. This is indeed some kind of esoteric occult band, but the style is actually old school doom. And when I say old school doom, I'm talking about stuff that could be very well from the 70s. This is going back to the roots, so to speak, and the style is like a doom metal with a little bit of a stoner in it. But like said, this comes with occult esoteric topics, and as such it's not your very typical doom metal band in those ways. Well, obviously things like witchcraft and Satan and darkness and all that stuff has been very much present since the early days. But this one goes, I guess, a little bit deeper into that. Comes with a great looking packaging. This one delivers you pretty, very basic doom metal stuff, with one exception, and that is kind of a Elvis-like doom metal singing. Now, that might be a real divider here, because not all people are gonna like it. Those who are looking for some personality with the vocalist and don't mind this is not exactly the kind of epic doom, might exactly, like this. But for me, that kind of a Elvis-like singing is a little bit too much. And when I say Elvis-like singing, obviously I'm a little bit exaggerating, but there is a certain kind of a weird vibe which I just can't like properly. But the music overall is pretty okay. My only problem is that I'm not much of a doom fan, and as such Caronte is not exactly my cup of tea. But what can I really say is that this is better than the previous album I got to review a few years ago. So in case doom metal with esoteric topics is your top of the game, well, go check out it, it's pretty nice. Into Coffin with Unconquered Abysses is the second album by this 3-man band, and this comes from Germany. This is very hard pill to swallow. It's 75 minutes of doom and death metal. One could say it's definitely more on the death metal side, because this is not all the way through some slow-paced pounding, but actually has more intense parts as well, where the tempo just picks up first into mid-tempo parts and then more intense, even fast-tempo spurts, if you will. Now, where this actually becomes the hard type of pill to swallow is the very fact that all of these songs are super lengthy. They're only 4 tracks, and as you can imagine, 75 minutes, well, it means that the average track length is too much, almost 20 minutes a track. Now, the downside here is also the very fact that all of these riffs are quite simple. It doesn't really be able to, fool you, just because it's down-tuned guitars and kind of an oppressive feeling coming from the cavernous places like old tombs or whatever. There is this kind of an evil presence, which I really like. The atmosphere here is quite right. But when you go really into the details and pay attention to individual riffs, you will soon find out it's more like Emperor's New Clothes. Nothing new is happening there. And the down-tuned guitars can fool you only for so long. And then you're looking for, hey, are there any cool guitar solos? Nope. Any actually nice guitar leads? Nope. Well, what about those kind of killer riffs, old school D-side, Morbid Angel, Death, Obituary, Balthor, Benediction, Entomb, this... Nope, no, not even near. We're doing death and doom. And from doom we take the slow tempo and this kind of a minimalism which is more closer to funeral doom. Boom, boom, boom. And you top off this pile of books with, hey, we don't have actually any cool riffs, but if we just play, the top string, we can let it just, vibrate for a long time. And people will be like, yeah, this is really badass. Except it's not. Now, there are people who really like this kind of stuff. No, not denying that. And as for that reason, there is a very high-rated review for this album on Metal Archives. I kind of get it, but it really requires you to have this kind of acquired taste. If you really can like very simplistic riffs with very slow tempo mostly, and you don't mind 20-minute tracks, then you're ready to go. Except growly vocals, doomy atmosphere, and riffs that don't exactly do much, and then you're good to go. Not bad, but definitely not for me, so quite a lukewarm experience. Another one from Germany is Revel in the Flesh, named after an Entombed song, and this is The Hour of the Avenger. This is old school death metal with kind of a mid-tempo ways, with a little bit melodic leads and all that stuff. Sounds good, theoretically speaking, especially when these guys have a little bit of a bolt throwerism thrown into the whole deal here. And actually, this is pretty good of an album. I really like what the guys are doing, even though this is not exactly original or mind-blowing in style. One could say this is the kind of a band that taps to the very same ways as Bolt Thrower, Benediction, Jungle Roll, and all that stuff. So nothing new is happening here. And while this is a relatively new band, they already have quite a few albums out. This being their latest from like 2019, I think. And if you are very cool to do just kind of a basic death metal, this is the kind of a stuff. If you don't like new gimmicks or don't need anything new happening in the scene, but just, lean on towards the kind of old school ways, the very basic kind of a death metal, then Revel in Flesh is definitely for you. Just don't expect anything too great and you're good to go. In my books, one of the better releases in this review pile. Then we go to Norway with a band called Saligia with an album called Vesavius. And this name is named after, or taken after, the deadly sins. It's the first letters of each sin, and that's the story of the band. At least that's what I've been told. This is the kind of a rock and rollish or black and roll kind of a attempt to do Norwegian black metal. Here and there is a strong nocturno culto of Dark Throne kind of a vibe with the vocals. And even some of the songs is like later day Dark Throne, with so much putting the kind of a first wave and second wave of black metal behind and moving on more towards kind of a rock and roll, easy to get groove and all that stuff. Now, the unfortunate side is it's not exactly very good. Here and there, some of the riffs are actually, hey, yeah, this is really promising. This will be very killer stuff. Except that lots of these parts is more like, okay, why there is this filler riff? Why is this lukewarm moment here and there? Production-wise, vocal-wise, everything is just quite okay. But if you have like three categories, the kind of gold standard, the best of Norwegian black metal, and then you have this silver class, which is like runner-ups, pretty good, but not exactly the gold standard. And then you have this bronze category. This would be there. Not exactly bad, but nothing out of ordinary. You really have to be the fan of the kind of a late Dark Thronian style and all that stuff to enjoy that. I kind of have to give credit to those vocals. They are not your standard shrieky, raspy black metal vocals, but nothing out of ordinary apart from that. Pretty okay, but not exactly ready for cigar. Last and definitely not least is Umbra Conciento with their debut album Yellowing of the Lunar Unconsciousness. This comes from international waters, namely Costa Rica with 2 members and the drummer from Germany. This is the only album by the band so far, 2019 release, and this style is fast and intense, kind of obscure black metal. I don't know, but for some reason, maybe because I've been lately listening to the new Funeral Mist album, this actually reminds me of that. Some parts are very intense, like almost inhumane, and it's very dark, and it also has these weird curveballs, which some people won't like, but some people will do, especially the kind of people who like the Funeral Mist's also curveball kind of decisions in songwriting, all that stuff. The production could be a lot better because especially the faster parts, things get really mushy and not too clear about what's going on. But mostly this is good as it is. Vocals have a little bit of death metal thrown into that is really a little bit growly parts on top of those kind of a screamy black metal vocals. And same goes for the riffs. They're a little bit of death metal seasoning, if you will, with some of the songwriting. Overall, a good album, just a little bit more polishing would be needed. And by polish, I don't mean super clean, clinical sound, but a little bit more like just a tad bit more effort into all that, and this would be good. Now, once again, as always, I try to pinpoint the best ones of any given Indie 5, and this time I'd go undecided between these two. Umbra Conciento if you like more into black metal, and Revel in the Flesh if you're into death metal. Pretty much the same quality, just very, very different styles. For all the links to the music and the bands you will find in the description box, so you click and start listening, and if you like some of them, go and buy them, support the bands or labels or local distros if you like to support metal in general. If you don't, well, go ahead and stream. I don't really care. Thanks for watching, take care, and should you have any questions regarding this interview, reviews, and the bands I try to reply, so put your comments in the comments box and I'll get back to you. Meanwhile, take care and bye bye.